everyone, welcome to Cheongfuli Weekly Report. Here we bring you the latest China's steel market prices and analysis every week. As the Spring Festival is approaching, steel mills have gradually stopped accepting new orders, and end-user procurement has also gradually come to a halt. Spot steel prices have remained stable. The overall market trading sentiment is weak, and the futures market has stayed within a narrow trading range. On the macro front, the People's Bank of China has proposed to continue implementing a moderately loose monetary policy, taking the promotion of steady economic growth and a reasonable recovery of prices as important considerations for monetary policy. Overseas, the U.S. non-farm payroll employment in January greatly exceeded market expectations, which has cooled market expectations for interest rate cuts. Recently, many Southeast Asian countries have adjusted their steel import tariffs. Coupled with the sluggish recovery of overseas demand, expectations for steel exports are under pressure, dragging down market sentiment. On the supply side, the total volume has accelerated its decline with obvious divergence across products. The total supply of the 5 major steel products this week was 7.9406 million tons, down 258,400 tons week on week, showing an accelerated contraction trend. The main reason is that some production lines of steel mills have gradually suspended production for the Spring Festival. In terms of products, the output decline of Rebar has accelerated, mainly due to production cuts at short process steel mills. Its output this week stood at 1.69116 million tons, down 225,200 tons week on week. The output of hot rolled coil decreased slightly to 3.0776 million tons, down 14,000 tons week on week. Hot metal production remains high, and long process steel mills still maintain strong production willingness before the Spring Festival, so the overall contraction range of the supply side is limited. On the demand side, as the Spring Festival approaches, seasonal weakness has become more prominent. Demand for construction steel has declined rapidly. The apparent consumption of rebar was 1.0191 million tons, down a sharp 457,300 tons week on week, as the implementation of infrastructure projects fell short of expectations. Demand for manufacturing steel has remained stable. The apparent consumption of hot-rolled coil was 2.9619 million tons, down only 93,500 tons week on week. However, overall downstream procurement is still mainly based on on-demand restocking, lacking support from speculative demand. On the inventory front, the total inventory growth of the 5 major steel products has accelerated this week, and the pressure of inventory accumulation has increased at a faster pace. The total inventory of the 5 major steel products this week was 14.4273 million tons, up 1.0498 million tons week on week, marking a full acceleration of the inventory accumulation cycle ahead of the Spring Festival. By product, rebar inventory has continued to accumulate to 5.8682 million tons, rising for 6 consecutive weeks, and the weak trend of end demand is hard to reverse. Hot-rolled coil inventory has risen slightly, mainly due to on-demand procurement in the manufacturing sector, with a moderate increase in inventory pressure, which is significantly lower than that of rebar. Overall, short-term domestic pro-growth policies are difficult to transmit quickly to end demand. The seasonal weakening of steel demand during the Spring Festival is inevitable, and the pressure from rebar inventory accumulation will continue to weigh on prices. In addition, overseas market sentiment and raw material price fluctuations will bring short-term disturbances, but will not change the core supply and demand pattern. Therefore, steel prices after the holiday will remain in a narrow, range-bound and weak pattern. Rebar will see relatively larger fluctuations due to inventory pressure, while hot-rolled coil will be more stable. There is no overall momentum for a trending rise or fall. Therefore, in terms of operation, for rebar, it is not advisable to restock blindly under inventory accumulation pressure, and it is recommended to only maintain the minimum safe inventory. For hot-rolled coil, procurement to meet rigid demand can be continued to avoid excessive hoarding. Supported by high hot metal output, steel billet prices are relatively stable with mild fluctuations, so a small amount of allocation can be made, and the extent of inventory accumulation during the Spring Festival needs to be closely tracked after the holiday. Meanwhile, close attention should be paid to key variables such as the implementation progress of domestic infrastructure projects, changes in overseas trade policies, and fluctuations in raw material prices. From the institutional perspective, the easing of constraints under the 3 red lines has improved expectations in the real estate market, with the overall macro environment turning warmer. On the industrial front, steel mills' winter stockpiling is drawing to a close, and the high inventory of iron ore is suppressing futures prices. Both supply and demand for steel remain weak. While inventory levels are relatively healthy ahead of the Spring Festival, the expected post-holiday decline in costs may drag steel prices down slightly. In summary, steel prices will remain generally range-bound and weak after the Spring Festival. Close tracking of inventory accumulation is required. Okay, feel free to leave your thoughts, questions, or any related inquiries in the comment box below. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to follow us for more updates. See you next week.